Hello, Callum.
Oh,
Welcome to another umbraCoffee episode at the end of month October
ah,
2024.
yeah. I
How's it
was
going,
actually.
Callum?
It's good. I was trying to think back to the last umbraCoffee episode. Did I even join? Yes, I did. We had Marcus on.
Yeah, yeah.
And that feels like a decade
Yesterday.
ago. No, not yesterday. A long time ago. So much
Yeah,
has
that's
happened
true.
in the last month.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, time flies, and the dynamics of things just also reminded me that we need to shorten this intro video and make a new version out of it because yeah, and that evolves. And I was deleting all the recordings today from umbraCoffee from StreamYard because there were some informations about space and whatever, and yeah, it was so many of them, and still we didn't keep recordings of all of them from the past. So. Yeah, it's end of October. Probably it's hard to say middle of the festival season. It's like I don't know where we are in the festival season. You
Well,
are also attending most of them.
festivals were there this year. We had Duke Fest, which was just
Yeah,
before the previous umbraCoffee. We had the Swedish festival, the US festival as well, and then I think we've got two more: the UK and the
yeah,
Danish
okay.
festival. So we are exactly halfway through.
Dan, and how's it going? You are also at the event today, traveling. You were in Sweden this week, right?
I've been everywhere this week. At the weekend, I came home from Porto, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, I was in Sweden for the Swedish festival. I was in Manchester yesterday for the Manchester meetup, and I am in Birmingham today for Tech Mids, where I did a talk this morning. And tomorrow, I'm heading to the US. So just keeping nice and busy this week.
Yeah, traveling update. I'm also in Oslo at the moment, traveling, but I'm not changing these locations that often as you. And I will be in UK for the UK festival soon. So that's also pretty cool. And yeah, it's going well. I saw a lot of pictures. Of course, we also know Jonah, who was speaking at the Swedish festival this week. How was it? Can you summarize the event so far from your perspective, maybe as a quick update as well?
It was good. So both of us, of course, Marcin, have spoken at the Swedish festival in the past.
Yes.
Back in Gothenburg, and then I spoke in the one in Örebro as well, which is in 2019, and then I spoke this year as well. So it's the fourth time I think I've spoken at the Swedish festival. First time it's back in 5 years, and it was a really nice community vibe, really friendly. It was. The theme was a party. They made it was like a kid's birthday party, and there was
balloons,
decorations.
Yeah.
It was good. It had a really nice vibe to it. So Marcus and the team behind it should be really proud. It was good fun.
Yeah, that's nice. And again, agenda was also looking really good, and it seems to be very cozy and nice event to get back on track. And of course, the next one is UK Festival, and we see that some people here are sharing big ups and awaiting the event. I was fortunate.
It's 2 weeks today, and I can't quite believe that it's come around that quick.
Me too, because I realized that I was selected to the agenda at some point, and then I realized that I have not that much time to prepare pretty well with the talk, and yeah, it's just behind the corner, and you of course you're also behind the event itself. How it's going, what we are expecting to have. The agenda was also released in the meantime.
Yeah,
right?
the full schedule's been up for a week or so now. There was a small change made to it yesterday, but just in terms of time slots. But it's pretty solid. It looks good. I had my recce at the venue on Tuesday. Just did a run through the venue there and had a look at how everything's going to flow. Because not only are we actually hosting the UK festival, the day prior, I'm also hosting an AI-focused, completely free conference that in the same venue that people can choose to attend if they wish, or go to the hackathon or whatever for Umbraco if they don't want to. But yeah, we had a lot to run through for the 2 days of events. The venue we obviously hosted there in 2016. It's so much slicker even now than it used to be. So that's exciting. And yeah, full schedule's up. Go explore it.
And the most important as well, from the event organizer perspective, buy tickets, right? Of course, I will make it for you.
Why it's in white, it stands out.
But we were also talking behind the scenes that the events these days have maybe some challenges of grabbing people deciding to spend money elsewhere and educate them probably from various other sources than conferences these days as well. So it's challenging times for the event. Right?
I've spoken with people in the past week or so where they've said they're having to make choices this year between, is it Spark or UK Festival, or even UK Festival and the Partner Summit, because the Partner Summit the day before is all a paid event now for partners. People are being more conscious with money. I also think age-old problem of how do we replace Twitter? Twitter's disintegrated, and even more so in the last couple of weeks with some policy changes they're making.
Yeah, don't go this way. Don't go this way today.
I still like it, but I tried out Blue Sky
Yeah.
this week. I've been on Blue Sky for a few years, but I've never used it, and it's got the old Twitter feel. So I might give Blue Sky a go for a bit. But what I was going to say here was, at the UK Fest, we're bringing back open spaces. Just after lunch, we're going to have a 30-minute open space session. And one of those is going to be on V14, and one of them is going to be on how do we connect with the community? Where do people want to see? Where are people hanging out? Where do we want to see people in the community? Because for me as an organizer, it would be super helpful to know where we should reach people to promote things. And equally, just like, I don't know, we used to scrape a lot of umbraCoffee news straight off Twitter, and
yeah, that's true.
You can't anymore.
But at the same time, was it Owen who mentioned that they are also considering shutting down the meetup group, because it's a little bit challenge to grab people, and of course it's a lot of efforts placed for the catch up of a couple of people. We've been there. I've done that as well in Warsaw back in the days when we had 3-4 people just gathering together, and there was dozens of hours invested up front to make it happen. So
I mean, the Edinburgh meetup's been going for years. It would be a real shame, but as Owen said, like, they get 10 people sign up and 3 people show up. It's not great. And we have the same problem in London. Everyone's having the same problems. There's been a really nice chat in Slack this morning between myself, Owen, Yoka, and a couple others, just about the meetup landscape as a whole. So yeah, everyone's feeling the pain.
But maybe that's important to mention, that everyone is going through the same problems, and the support is in other people, and that's the only thing, that it will either get back, or we will need to find new ways of approaching each other, or sharing knowledge and so on. Maybe YouTube, maybe some other forms of knowledge shared. We'll see. We'll find out. But it would be a shame, really, because community vibes are the community vibes, and these were always for people, by people. Right? So
can I loop back on the community vibes point? US Festival, we've not spoken about that. That was at the start of October. This was the first one in a few years, since 2020 when there was a virtual one, but the first community organized one in a while, having had 2 years of US summits, and my goodness, the community vibes were there and flowing, and it felt so good, so good. So it really reiterated to me that the reason why community and a community focus is so important on these sorts of events. So
that's exactly something what we talked about it as well. But worth mentioning. So again, people, you are and we are the community. So let's make those vibes flying around. Speaking about it, this is a great month to discuss that, because of course it's Hacktoberfest month. Not only Oktoberfest, but it's also Hacktoberfest, and I found some really cool. Let me just reshare my screen. I'm on the single monitor today, so I found that the blog post that we also mentioned at some point when it comes to the Hacktoberfest contributions, all the rules and stuff. But there's also a Hacktoberfest activity log, and I don't know if you've seen it, that column, and followed the updates here.
Yes.
But there is a lot of things that got done, and of course the people still are working on some various stuff, and it's not end of the month yet, so we probably will see some more.
It's great to see that. So with Hacktoberfest this year, umbraco have really broadened the scope of where you can contribute. The whole idea of don't have to do code, low code, no code contributions are perfect and viable. You need to make 2 contributions within October to get the umbraco Hacktoberfest reward, which is a nice notebook this year as well. No t-shirts anymore, but you can list on here activities you've done, talks, articles you've written, and even this is something that has not been written in a blog post, but was put somewhere on social media. The UK Fest Hackathon, which happens in November, if you do contributions there for one day only, will also count towards October's Hacktoberfest. So just for the umbraco one. So there's lots of different ways you can get involved. Even testing. So this is a new one. Testing of umbraco 15, which we're going to talk about in a second. Because umbraco 15 is in release candidate, it's a perfect time to get involved in testing and giving feedback on those on the product, and they've got a list of areas that they want testing, and you can get involved by doing that. So maybe you don't fancy hacking at the hackathon, or maybe you've got some spare time in the next few days. Get ahead and test stuff instead.
Yeah, but that's a great idea. I think that was always the reason of release candidates. But at the same time, the additional motivation always helps too. So if people can use this additional kick and spend some time, as you said, testing, playing around, and finding out issues, that would be also lovely. Plus, there were a couple of events online and in person. There was also a hackathon in Charlotte. Have you attended this one prior to the US Fest?
I'll be honest, Marcin, I went and got deep dish pizza, but I should have been.
Share the PR with the contribution.
I roped in 2 other community members, so it's technically a community thing.
Yeah, but there was an online event. I saw some pictures also from Carol and other attendees. So yeah, it is happening. So let's see. We'll definitely summarize the Hacktoberfest after the end of October, and maybe after also the Umbraco UK events that are counting into the collaborations. And yeah, you've mentioned Umbraco 15, so let's talk about Umbraco 15 because the release candidate was released this month, and we've been talking about some of the features of Umbraco 15 already before it was released. Right, there are some cool features for lazy loading of content. Some breaking changes and some other changes as well. So
I mean that sort of the cache changes is one of my personal favorite highlights, but I don't think it's really one of the headline features, unfortunately. I think the block level variations, which is the ability to have content changing in blocks in 2 languages
per block,
and also the feature, the API user feature, so you're able to create API keys against users that you use for authentication, such as against the delivery API. I think those are the 2 real headline features.
But also one
alternative UI for rich text editor.
That's what I wanted to mention. That one of the things is also the new editor behind the text, the rich text editor. Of course, we talked about TinyMC stepping down and being supplied with TipTap. So right now it also has another UI for managing rich text editor. So that looks amazing so far, and there's a lot of other changes that, as you've mentioned, but there are some behind the scenes and some visible changes and some good stuff. But one thing that also I found out today when I was preparing for this discussion was the poll, both polls done by Matt Braceford. I don't know if you've seen that, Callum.
I have seen the addition of polls on umbraFoI, and this is so cool. I love this.
Yeah, but this also shows really nice numbers, because 125 people voted, for example, a week ago, if is it the time to start using Umbraco 14, and there was a 51% that disagreed.
I think that's pretty scathing. The fact that 19%,
check this a week after.
19% of people think, only 19% of people think Umbraco 14's ready to be used on new projects. And I had some honest conversations with the people on the core team this week as well, and they were saying that a lot of the stuff UI-wise that is broken in 14, and a lot of it's fixed in 15. So there's a lot of improvements to, say, the block grid or blocks in general. So maybe 15 is going to be the turning point. They've still not reached feature parity with 13 yet. They know they're sort of still working through a lot of that. So yeah, maybe it's not quite the right time yet, but it's so interesting to see that data. So interesting to see the data.
And again, kudos to Matt for bringing this feature to the crowd, because the amount of votes shows something. And again, we like data, we like information, and we often ask you here also on YouTube about various things, but having these answers really helps. So I do look forward for more checks also with Umbraco 15 and other questions that will bother us. But yeah, you've mentioned some of the features. There's also one new feature that got a little bit more description about, which is the management API. And Ken did a really nice blog post here demoing and summarizing how it can be used, how the management API can be consumed, for what it can be used, and so on. So that's really cool. And again, for all the headless or content heavy, member heavy as well, so in this particular case solutions, it's amazing set of knowledge already and ability to play around with members through APIs. I'm looking forward to play with it, because I have a couple of side projects where memberships are essential, and that would be really nice to play around with it outside of the Umbraco context, which is nice to see. Two more things from umbraco landscape and behind the scenes stuff that is, in my opinion, worth to mention. One is that there will be there is a potential merge of repositories. Finally,
it's not potential; it's happening.
It's happening. Okay,
it's happening straight after UK festival. So,
okay.
Yeah, any pull requests made will still have the hackathon will still have to be made to the old setup. But yeah, they are making this change. I think the feedback has been that people struggle to grasp submodules. And the way it's been approached. So they are going to merge them, and apparently they've got a way of combining them whilst keeping the histories as well. So they're going to keep the old tree of the umbraco, the Bell or the Bellissima build as well, and we'll merge at some point. That'd be good. Nice. Makes it easier to contribute, definitely.
True. Yeah. And the second was the breaking change.
The argument for having them separate as well was always, you could run the back office separately, but I think the likelihood of people doing that is so slim that it really doesn't justify the overhead of having the separate repos.
That's true. So yeah, that's going to happen. And second, it was the information about the breaking change for umbraco 16. Another one. We've been talking about one of them in the past. I can't remember which change it was, but it's a really good heads up by the team here on the underlying changes that will potentially break things, right?
And great to see them adopting modern .NET features. So in this case, iSet is just a way more efficient way of doing collections, because if you don't need things like order and you don't need things like indexes, then actually a set is perfect. So using that over an array, it reduces the allocations of the underlying data structure as well. So yeah, overall, this is great. And it shouldn't make difference to most people in their data.
Yeah. But I'm really also curious, we've been doing this presentation about the memory allocation back in the days. I would really love to see some benchmarks here, how umbraco benefited from this particular changes. So maybe it will be shared somewhere, maybe some graphs or data will be shared, because that would be lovely to see from the perspective of CMS on how these modern features are helping internal code bases to gain some memory and maybe reduce some consumption of the resources. Not that I'm preparing for the presentations, but yeah, I'll be looking at it as well.
Yeah.
And last but not least, about umbraco for today was the security advisory. So we had this information shared across various channels on October 22nd, and it was affecting. A lot of the versions.
Everything. every supported version is in here. So they don't list 11 or 12 because the patch has not been applied for that. But it affects everything, I think. By all accounts, one of them affects the version of... there's the compression library that's in there. I can't remember what that's called. There's a compression library, and there's a CV for that one as well. So I think there's been a dependency version update on that. But it's good to see umbraco patching these things, and also that this is possibly the first security vulnerability under the new security community team. We've been fairly heavily involved in this as well. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I've seen website being patched this week everywhere, so it definitely resolved some problems. But it was an interesting one to read about some potential issues and exploits of how it can be used for the wrong purposes. So yeah, that's briefly all of the things that were prepared for today to scan through. There was a lot of blog posts as well being shared as a part of the Hacktoberfest, but they are listed in both Hacktoberfest activity log plus on UMB FYI on Matt's summaries. There's a lot of useful materials and definitely look there. And there was one more thing that was released this month was the script release, an issue with two articles. I can't remember the exact titles now, but
me neither.
They were. It was really nice to see it released. I haven't read through them. One was from Bishal about customizing the umbraco tour in few simple steps, so something what probably won't exist, right? That was killed feature, right? Umbraco tours or not? I can't remember now. And second was the how to create custom umbraco user permissions in Bellissima by Warren.
Yes, that was cool. That was cool. I remember seeing Warren's article.
But yeah, I will need to check because umbraco tours was something what probably was not going to be migrated over. So that's sad, and not sad, but of course there are some other priorities in the CMS that needs to be moved. Is there anything else, Callum, from your side that might be worth to mention?
I don't think so. We've covered a lot. Community festivals coming up, DK and UK. Get tickets for both of them. I know they're both still on sale. So they are. That's 2 weeks and 4 weeks away, respectively. So lots on.
And make sure that any kind of contributions, not only code related, will land in the Umbraco activity log, Hacktoberfest log. And if it's not Umbraco related, make sure to share it as well. There was some cool stuff done by Matt Braceford around blogging with GitHub discussions, some other cool astro explorations done by community members. It's great to see them, but of course share them and let us know if there's anything Umbraco related that is maybe worth sharing on the next umbraCoffees, because after the next month, we'll have a lot to summarize from all festivals' perspectives, Hacktoberfest summaries, and all the other things. So then we will probably talk more about it.
Definitely.
Awesome. So time for heading up. But I wanted to say back home, but you are traveling further. So that's.
I've got to get a train, but and then to the US tomorrow morning. But it's fine. It's fine.
Have fun, and we'll keep us updated and share the more news on the upcoming umbraCoffee. So for all, again, call to action: secure your tickets for the events if you are planning to go. Catch us up on the events as well whenever we'll be there, and make sure to share information, like, subscribe, and do all the YouTuber stuff. And let's see each other soon on the events or another umbraCoffee next month.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait. Cool.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Cheers. Bye-bye.